First with breaking news. First with new information. Plus, your first alert forecast. 19 News starts now.
The 19 First Alert weather team all over the storms that we have been dealing with today is another 19 First Alert weather day.
That's right, another one. Once again, we are tracking the risk of storms, possibility of more strong winds and heavy rain. You can see it moving in. Hello, everybody. I'm Brian Duffy. Thanks for joining us first at 4 and streaming on 19 News Plus.
And I'm Nicole Versansky. So let's get you right to 19 First Alert. Meteorologist Erica Page tracking everything in Cleveland's most accurate forecast.
Yeah, I think largely as we kind of get into this next hour or so, this is going to tell us a lot as to how these storms are going to hold together. We may keep this alert day going into the early part of the evening if radar data will support kind of this idea that storms could still be producing some potentially damaging wind gusts with them. Without a doubt, today, the greatest risk for severe weather was always going to be down to our southwest, but it's still possible that one or two of those storms could sneak into northeast Ohio because we have built in a little bit of energy, despite temperatures being a little bit cooler today than, say, where we were yesterday. And you'll see that there is at least some risk that one or two storms could still produce a damaging wind gust potential as we kind of go through the early part of this evening. So that is something we are watching. Again, this is the cluster of showers and thunderstorms off to our west. Really, this not necessarily quite as robust as it was when it was moving through parts of Indiana, the Chicago area. We're kind of dealing with the remnants of it at this point, but we have seen additional showers and storms develop out over the lake. And this will be interesting to see how well it holds together as this whole system continues to slide its way off towards the east. Now, wind-wise, Findlay only reporting a wind gust upwards of 32 miles per hour, well below any severe thresholds. I'll continue to time this out, though, kind of walk you through when rain will arrive, maybe in your backyard coming up here in just a little bit.
All right, so good time to download the free 19 First Alert weather app. Scan the QR code you see right there. Really great tool to have all the time, but even more so as these storms are expected tonight into tomorrow. Get push alerts for wherever you happen to be.
President Trump is on his way to Northeast Ohio as we speak for the Patriot Games finale. Air Force One just took off, should land at Hopkins in the next hour. However, some tense moments this morning after a bomb threat was called in right across from where the president will be tonight. First at 4, Catherine Huntley live now at the Spire Academy, where the competition will be happening soon. Catherine.
Yeah, Nicole, well, the threat came in about 11 a.m. to the McDonald's, which is right across the street from the Spire Academy. We were already on our way, and when we arrived, thankfully, the bomb squad was just leaving. However, it really was some tense moments. We spoke with the supervisor at the McDonald's, and he said all of a sudden, law enforcement burst in the front door, evacuated the building, and then proceeded to fully search a white van that was in the back of the parking lot. But thankfully, the all clear was given, and the McDonald's was back open. So far since then, we're not aware of any other issues, which is a really good thing here. And all day today, so many people have been filing in, excited to see the president and, of course, these high school athletes. This is one of the fields where the athletes have been competing this week.
It's so great to see this community come together, celebrate, and especially celebrate these kids, 14 to 17-year-olds, showing us what they're made of on a national stage in front of the President of the United States, in front of all of the eyes of our country, displaying what this next generation brings.
Now those students are going to be vying for each for one boy and one girl, $125,000 in scholarship money that they can put towards the college of their choice. But this is actually not Donald Trump's first time here in Harpersfield. He was actually here while on the campaign trail back in 2016. Actually, that was right before the election that he, of course, won. Now we're expecting him here in a few hours. We'll have live coverage throughout this evening of the president's visit here to Harpersfield. For now, live in Harpersfield, Catherine Huntley, 19 News.
So you may be asking yourself, what exactly are the Patriot Games, and is there anything at stake here?
19 data journalist Dan DeRose is here to break it all down for us. Dan.
Nicole wanted a demonstration of some of these, but nobody needs to see a grown man pull a muscle on live TV. That will not be happening. This is actually a creation by Donald Trump and the White House. There's never been a Patriot game like this before, Patriots game. Let's get to the details. And a lot of this is because of the Freedom 250, the 250th anniversary birthday of our nation. So he's putting on these games. One boy, one girl from every state and some provinces. You have to be between 14 and 17 years old, and there is a lot at stake. If it's Freedom 250, there's $250,000 worth of scholarships available that will be spread out. The idea behind this, according to the president and the White House, this is to show determination, teamwork, resilience, and pride amongst our future leaders, as they're called, not just because they're athletic. They're going to be doing varsity circuits. You saw some of the obstacle courses there in Catherine's package. There's an endurance challenge. And they've been competing all week, by the way. Then there's a tug of war and hoops. There's even volleyball and dodgeball. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. If you know, you know. And then the finals are today. That's why the president is coming in. It's down to the finals of this. They're going to do the semifinals early and the finals. Now, there is going to be a national broadcast. It's an hour long, and that's going to air Thursday night of this final celebration. So, hey, this is a huge spotlight for Northeast Ohio. They could have gone to any country, any state in the country, but they chose right here in Northeast Ohio, really because of that Spire Academy. So, great news and a great competition for our area. Nicole?
Dan, thank you. The president is expected to arrive in Cleveland at 5. We'll bring you that live as it happens, as he travels then to Ashtabula County for the Patriot Games finale. The man charged with a murder that went unsolved for more than 22 years was in court today. This is Angelo Smith. He pleaded not guilty in the 2004 murder of Naomi Fales. She was found stabbed to death in an abandoned home near Somerset and East 105th in Cleveland. Prosecutors say forensic genetic genealogy helped crack the case. Smith is now being held on a $1 million bond.
In Columbia right now, there is a frantic search for survivors. The death toll has risen to at least 224 people following Monday's magnitude 7.4 earthquake in western Columbia. Maribel Gonzalez has the very latest on this tragedy.
More than 24 hours after a 7.4 magnitude earthquake rocked western Columbia, emergency workers are racing against the clock to find survivors buried underneath rubble and debris. At least 1,500 homes have been damaged or destroyed, and Columbia's Geological Service has recorded more than 70 aftershocks across the country since Monday's earthquake.
I am from California, so I grew up with earthquakes. I'm very familiar with them.
Mark Erickson says he experienced the violent shaking of California's Northridge earthquake back in 1994, but yesterday's earthquake in Columbia felt different to him.
This was in another category. I've never felt anything like this. It was scary. It started like any normal earthquake would, with some gentle rumbling, and then the strange thing about this, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it just kept going and going and going.
Supplies are being collected and help mobilized from organizations across the world, including the Global Empowerment Mission in Florida.
We need hands, we need volunteers in order for Colombia to move forward.
As recovery efforts continue, the United Nations is warning that food distribution will be crucial in the coming days, with the number of missing people forecast to rise.
They need tents and canned foods and a lot of water and electrolytes in order for them to survive.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
For the first time in more than a decade, the FDA has approved a new LASIK technology.
Derek James shows us how this works and why one patient says the difference is clear.
Sean Nolan spent most of his life relying on his glasses because of astigmatism. The 26-year-old ski racer and coach says that changed after a new LASIK procedure.
I'm not sure if it was that clock, it might have been. And as soon as I got off the table, I could see it perfectly.
Sean had Wavelight Plus LASIK at Oval LASIK and Lens, the first clinic in the U.S. selected to offer the technology. The system uses light tracing and more than 1,500 data points to create a personalized treatment plan. So you're basically mapping each individual eye?
Not only each individual eye, but what this new technology known as ray tracing does is it traces thousands of single beams of light through different parts of the eye and can see how light hitting the top of the cornea might be focused different from that at the 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock position. So not only are we learning how each individual patient sees, but how each individual eye sees, and then improving that.
Dr. Mark Lobanoff helped develop the technology. He says LASIK has evolved rapidly since his first surgery 27 years ago.
Where a lot of the misconceptions from LASIK occurs from those early days with equipment that we don't even use anymore. Everything's gotten more accurate, more precise, safer for the patient.
The procedure itself is still quick and pain-free, with patients able to drive with improved vision the next day.
All of a sudden, boom, you can see incredible detail.
Sean is now 2015, seeing things he never realized he was missing. Derek James, CBS News, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
While no vision procedure can guarantee a lifetime result, Dr. Lobanoff says the goal with WaveLight Plus is a more precise correction that may reduce the need for future enhancements. It typically costs a few $100s more per eye than traditional LASIK, depending on special offers.
Well, caught on camera, check it out. A Mack tractor trailer slams into a bridge overpass, overturned and smashed into a small sedan that was parked on the right shoulder. This happened in New York State. A person who lives nearby remembers hearing another crash just like it in 2023. A truck took out a huge chunk of the overpass at the very same spot.
It's happened again. They didn't even finish the construction yet, and here it is happening again. It's unbelievable.
Driver of the car needed medical attention. The truck driver, surprisingly enough, was not hurt, but he was handed a ticket for not checking his clearance. The Thruway Authority says this bridge suffered only minor damage and is not compromised. Okay. It is scheduled to be replaced sometime after 2029. Well, you can see a lot of the bridge coming down there, but okay.
Well, the NBA released its schedule today. The Cavs kicking off their season Thursday, October 22nd in Philadelphia against the 76ers and LeBron. Meantime, the NBA on Christmas Day has become an annual tradition showcasing interesting matchups and star players. The 2026 Christmas slate has 5 games on the schedule, highlighted by an NBA Finals rematch between the Spurs and the Knicks. Now to your top 4 at 4. This video just in from the Columbus area. Tens of thousands of people are without power after storms pummeled central Ohio. Wires are down across roads. Strong winds really ripped them down. You can see the tree in the middle of that road there. The first round of these storms moved through this morning, bringing high winds, heavy rain, flooding, extensive damage. Governor DeWine had a briefing about an hour and a half ago. He said they're investigating 4 potential tornadoes that could have touched down in southern Ohio. So the second round is expected as we speak, frankly, and into this evening.
A 19 traffic alert, an emergency road closure in Paynesville Township. Madison Avenue at Woodworth Avenue shut down. A retaining wall buckled, making the road unstable. Lake County commissioners declared it an emergency. The fix will cost about $2 million. Construction should start late this fall. The road is expected to reopen next spring. Detours are in place if you're driving or biking in that area.
Canton police investigating an apartment fire as a double homicide. The bodies of Katina Spells and Courtney Yeager were found Sunday inside the burned out building on Allen Page Drive. Both had been shot. Canton police believe Daryl Washington is the gunman. There's a warrant out for his arrest, as well as Eric Lamar, who police believed helped start the fire. Now, another suspect in this arson, Melissa Terrell, actually turned herself in just a few hours ago.
Hot, dry conditions in the West are fueling at least 200 major fires in the U.S. and Canada. Towns near Reno, Nevada are on edge under a state of emergency. 2 wildfires there have burned more than 20,000 acres. The 15,000-acre bug fire is growing, and on Monday came dangerously close to Reno, just miles from downtown. At least 6,000 residents have evacuated from surrounding neighborhoods. Taylor
Swift has not yet shared photos of her Christian Dior wedding gown.
But bridal designers are already racing to predict the next Swift-inspired trend. Yeah, David's Bridal has turned guesses into gowns, sketching about 24 looks based on the superstar's style. They range from romantic, sparkly ball gowns to shorter dresses that could be perfect and an outfit for change after the ceremony.
She definitely will have impact on some brides, when they pick their gown, especially to her loyal fans. So we think that there will be a group of brides that are wanting to have her look.
David's Bridal says there's already an uptick in online searches for Swift-style gowns, and once the world gets a look at the dress Swift chose, it's expected to shape what's next in bridal fashion. All right, breaking at this hour, we are waiting for President Trump to arrive here in the city of Cleveland. That is one of the helicopters, of course, that may have been traveling with the president. He is set to touch down at Hopkins in Cleveland in just a few moments. Live pictures here as we wait. Of course, at this point, we're not sure if the weather will play a role in the arrival time. Once he's on the ground, it's off to Ashtabula County, where he is expected to take one of his choppers, maybe that one, where he will be attending the finale of the Patriot Games.
Also breaking, crews are working to put out this large fire at a recycling and scrap metal facility in Houston. So you can see just that huge plume of smoke coming from the Ironman scrap metal facility. Fire officials, they're monitoring air quality. They say so far no environmental concerns that they know of. They've added that hazmat crews are also trying to prevent any damage to nearby waterways.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast, certified most accurate since 2004.
Continuing coverage now on the risk of storms on this 19 First Alert Weather Day.
Yeah, it doesn't end tonight either, Nikki. Lingering storm chances go into tomorrow. 19 First Alert meteorologist Erica Page is all over this.
Yeah, joining us with what's happening right now. Again, we've been looking at pictures of Hopkins. Looks clear now, but we're waiting on the president's arrival. And I know the rain is kind of knocking on our door, Erica.
Yeah, we've seen a new round of showers and storms developing out over the lake, and that's continuing to push on shore. So for basically downtown Cleveland westward, that's where we're kind of focusing this better opportunity for rain. We've talked about it in the weather office. We're going to extend the 19 First Alert Weather Day, keep it going through the 6 p.m. hour. Keep in mind, regardless of if we see strong to severe storms, you are still talking about some heavier rainfall. It is very muggy outside, so anything that develops in this environment will produce some heavy rain on top of rain that we've already seen over the last couple of days. So flood watches will remain in effect until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Keep in mind, you can start to see those clouds building in over downtown Cleveland. This will eventually carry that threat for heavier rainfall. The stronger storms likely sitting down to our south. This cluster not doing a whole lot. It'll bring some steadier rain for some of our western counties west of 71, but this is what more so has our attention. You can see some of these small little circles in here. That's an indication on radar where we have a little bit of smaller hail mixing in, and just to basically the north of Vermilion, we're seeing an uptick in some of that lightning. That's probably where we have the strongest core of activity happening right now, and this does extend down towards the airport out at Hopkins, so it is going to start raining pretty heavy here soon, and this is moving very slowly down to the southeast. So if you're in our lakeshore communities, basically again downtown Cleveland westward, keep in mind heavy rainfall going to be something that you're dealing with for a while, because this is only moving at about 25 miles per hour. We'll walk you through what you can expect through the rest of tonight coming up here in just a bit.
2 teenagers accused of killing a Ukrainian Lyft driver are now being tried as adults.
Today, for the first time, we are seeing their faces. First at 4, Brittany Ware shares an update as they appear before a judge.
Nashawn Anthony Jordan and Cameron Bradford appeared virtually in Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court Tuesday, marking their first appearance as adults.
4135, co-defendant B, Sean Jordan.
The two are accused of robbing and killing 27-year-old Lyft driver Vasil Shvets back in February. Both were 17 at the time, but a judge found probable cause and transferred their cases from juvenile court. Today, their bond was set at $1 million each.
We acknowledge the seriousness of the charges and the pain of the victims. Your Honor, we would ask the court to also consider Mr. Jordan's youth and indigency, and his lack of prior juvenile or criminal history in setting a reasonable bond.
Shvets was shot in the torso and found slumped over his steering wheel on East 84th Street on February 10th, just after midnight. Prosecutors say Jordan and Bradford tried to rob Shvets before opening fire. After the car crashed, they ran away and were arrested 6 days later.
The evidence in this case is great, Your Honor, and the effect on the community, to protect the community, $1 million is appropriate. Thank you.
Back in February, we spoke with Reverend Dimitro Kazian. He says Fetch was more than a friend. He was like family.
Escaped for a better life here. All his family is in Ukraine. So he began his new life here, working very hard to pursue the American dream, coming here because this is the country of freedom and peace, but unfortunately, he was killed here.
Shvets was described as kind, loving, hardworking, and non-confrontational, making the loss even more difficult for those who loved him.
I know that he loved his fiancée very much. He wanted to start a family. He was great with kids.
Shvets' fiancée was inside the courtroom today, but she did not wish to speak. Now, Jordan and Bradford, they are due back in court on August 25th for their pretrial hearings. In Cleveland, Brittany Weir, 19 News.
New developments now in the Tennessee man who shot and killed a Lyndhurst man in his own garage. Francisco Volinsky pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter and weapons charges. A judge sentenced him to 15 to 20 years in prison. Lyndhurst police say Volinsky shot Dorian Holt a year ago following some kind of argument. The two men did not know each other.
Optimism that an agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz will soon be reached appears to be dimming. So it comes as we're learning stunning new information that President Trump secretly switched planes last month amid security concerns involving Iran. Maddie Gannon has the details from the White House.
Uncertainty is mounting Tuesday on the prospects of a deal over the Strait of Hormuz as both the U.S. and Iran place conditions on any potential future agreement. President Donald Trump now says he will demand compensation from Iran for all of those killed and wounded by the country in past unspecified conflicts. He said he told his team to make this a firm condition in any potential future agreements. And it directly follows Iran over the weekend issuing a fresh list of demands it says it wants from the U.S. in order for the Strait of Hormuz to be fully reopened, including compensation for war damages. This all is fueling new questions about the future of the strait, as Trump is now insisting that it's actually open. Trump acknowledged to reporters Monday that Iran can cause, quote, trouble in the waterway, but he insisted that the strait is actually controlled by the U.S. Navy. That's despite shipping data from marine traffic showing that the number of vessels transiting the strait over the last 2 days is still significantly less than from before the war. And this all comes as we are learning about a plan carried out by the U.S. last month to secretly transfer Trump to a different plane to transport him from the NATO summit in Turkey in the face of threats from Iran. CNN has confirmed reporting from the Washington Post that a catering truck was used to covertly move the president from a plane he was seen boarding on camera to a military plane to fly from Turkey to the UK without the public knowing. At the White House, I'm Maddie Gannon.